Back again, still alive. And taking a few minutes out to make a video because the emails just don't stop coming in, and a lot of important ones too that I can't wait to get home to share them. So I'm gonna share them now. But I had to take a few days out. I'm in the jungle right now, actually, not too far from a beach where there's a bunch of people, so you might hear some voices behind me. But we had a bit of a, the only update I got about our trip, we had a bit of a mishap. We went to this place to eat some food, and big barbecue at the front of the place, outdoor style place to eat, no walls. Great place. I mean, we ate there a lot, no problem. And then my brain had a bit of a cluster. Can't believe I didn't clue in, but like Sarah noticed somebody, she goes, "Oh man, look at that poor guy puking over there." And I looked way back in the back corner where the bathrooms are, and here's this guy, a guy working there, and he's not having a good go, and the bathroom door's kind of open. And then I'm like, "Oh man, sucks to be him." But then I noticed him go back into the kitchen. Why I didn't run right then? Haven't a clue. Dumbass. It's like, what was I thinking? But anyway, I ordered up some tuna to be barbecued up, so that was fresh, and the tuna was right there on ice. And then, sure enough, next day, both ends. Felt like you're gonna die, and that went on for like 3 days. What a horrible thing to go through. That sucks ass. So I lost 3 days there, and then sure enough, right when I started to get better, then Sarah got sick. She didn't get as bad as me though, so that kind of sucked. But anyway, finally feeling better. And I'm gonna share a couple emails. And for all of you newcomers that are here, just a little reminder. Just gotta remind you guys that I am not a researcher. I'm not a member of any organizations. And I'm just somebody who knows about the existence of these things. I'm somebody who's aware of all the bullshit going on and the cover-ups. I'm aware of the people who have held the narrative on this topic for too many years. It's kind of weird, peculiar to me that they can even pull that off, because it would be like, the way I see it, it'd be like me. It'd be like if I decided that me and 6 or 7 other people or groups held the grizzly bear narrative and nobody else was allowed to have any input or switch any information up on what we know about the grizzly bears. It was entirely up to that group of dorks to control the narrative, and that's what's been going on. So what I'm doing is I'm slowly taking baby steps to honestly inform all of you and offer you up direction for you to look into things yourselves, okay? It's not like I'm standing here dictating to you, you better believe me, and I've got this, and I've done that, and I've done this for so many years. It's not the case. What we're doing is we're bringing light to numerous items that have been covered, that you all need to see and focus on for yourselves. It's easy to dig up for yourselves and see, okay? It's not like me and the group of very intelligent, honest people behind me. It's not like we have an agenda and we're trying to mislead you guys. It's just that there's a guy walking by in the jungle looking at me like I'm talking to myself. So anyways, the perils of being in public and trying to video and do this shit. But anyway, I'll keep going. But anyway, it's not like myself and the group of individuals I am involved with are trying to or need you to be led in our direction. All we need to do is get you to look into the obvious for yourself and see the honest truth, okay? That's what we're doing, and it's actually working out quite well, which obviously it would, because it's honest, no bullshit, right? All right, so hopefully the sounds of these boats aren't too loud in the background, or you can hear me okay. But here's a quick email I'll share with you right now. It's another encounter, another one, and listen to this one. Steve, first off, I'd like to thank you for what you're doing for everyone on the subject. I'm an avid outdoorsman and was raised hunting and fishing and being outdoors, unlike most kids today. I live in Del Rio, Tennessee, right on the North Carolina line, just outside the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Back in 2003 or 2004, I can't remember exactly the year, it was in mid-September, Cody, Chris, and myself decided we would go squirrel hunting. Now keep in mind, I have hunted and harvested everything we have to offer here in these mountains. On this September morning, we got up early and decided, oh shit, oh, I got my readers. Let me put these readers on, it'll be much smoother. There we go. What's that, my doctor look? All right. On this September morning, we got up early and decided to go hit this ridge top we had hunted many times in the past. We got up in the timber probably 45 minutes before daylight Oops. As we settled in and waited on daylight, we could hear something out on the ridge several hundred yards away. As it worked its way closer, I remember Cody saying, "We're gonna see some deer this morning." I replied, "There's no way that's a deer, it's making too much noise for deer." It sounded like it was breaking limbs out of trees as it walked along. We listened to it come fairly close and work its way out of hearing distance. As daybreak came, it was a strange morning. Perfect weather, but nothing was moving. We didn't see the first squirrel. We decided to get up and stalk out to the ridge. As we moved along, we began to notice limbs broke out of the trees. Several of these limbs were the size of silver dollars, and I couldn't jump and even touch where these limbs were snapped off. And also, none of these limbs were laying on the ground. Those boats are driving me nuts. And don't forget, I can't edit these videos up on the phone, and my laptop won't let me edit up any of the videos off the real good cameras I brought, so you're gonna have to bear with me for this raw delivery, all right? As we began to sneak up this bottom and came to a sharp bend in the creek, as we came around the bend, we noticed something crouched down in the creek. Cody said, "What was that?" It was maybe 75 yards in front of us. It looked over its right shoulder and looked right at us. It then stood up, began to run. It ran maybe 20 feet and fell flat on its stomach. It pushed itself back up as if it was doing a push-up. It turned and looked at us again and took off up the bank out of the creek, which is maybe 10 or 15 feet straight up, and ran through a thicket that a man would have had to get down and crawl through. It was around 7 or 8 feet tall with long, dark, brownish black hair. Its shoulders were easily 4 feet wide and with little to no hair on its face, with a large flat nose. Oblong-shaped head was close enough to see the whites of its eyes, which is something I'll never forget. Cody, which is 6'6", 280 pounds of a man, looked at me, took the clip out of his gun and broke a stride back towards the truck with Chris right behind him. I was still standing there in shock, trying to figure out what I'd just seen. When I made it back to the truck, Chris was crying like a baby. We went back to the Cody's house and told his dad we had seen, and I took him back to where we seen this thing. And we looked at the tracks in the mud and the path which it ran through. The thicket was very visible. There was branches broken that Danny himself could not reach. Cody and myself had told others about that morning. All everyone did was tell us we were crazy and what we didn't see. What's new? I actually hit a guy for telling me he was lying about what we had seen. I know damn well what we've seen. As far as I know, Chris has never even brought that day back up, and none of us has ever been back to that particular patch of woods. A few years later, my dad was at work, and an older gentleman came into the shop, and somehow this topic came about. The guy and his brother were bird hunting in the same area, and their dogs had come back and would not hunt anymore. Him and his brother saw something in the thicket that day and described it to a T of what we saw that day. And this happened to them many years before we had our encounter, and we never spoke to each other before. But thanks for listening. If you need any more details, feel free to contact me. Thanks, Josh Gorell. All right, well, there's another one. Thanks, Josh. And you know what, you guys? One thing I've noticed, and one thing I was hoping that was going to happen is I'm now getting more emailed encounters sent to me with people telling me to use their name than I ever had. I'm sweating like crazy here, but which is good, right? Because that's the whole point of the game. We're showing everybody the honest truth, the facts, giving them our courage to come out and speak openly on their honest encounters, so that it'll help them and help them out, and it'll help other people come forward and deal with their shit, right? But anyway, I got another one I really wanted to get out to you guys right now too, so that you could look into some bullshit and figure it out for yourselves. Where is it? Remember? Okay, here we go. Are you ready? Now, again, obviously the people that are getting more frustrated and angry with me online, the ones who are insisting on attacking me, they are going to be the ones, more than likely, the more guilty ones, and they're going to be the most nervous, and they're going to be the ones that want me to shut up right away, right? That's a pretty easy no-brainer to check out. But anyway, moving along, because keep in mind here, you guys, I'm here to fight, right? And I'm not going to stop, and we're going to win. And this army of good, honest people is building like a MFer behind me. There's no way of getting out of it. The tide's changed. The tide's turned. I try to keep my language down to a low roar because, you know, let's face it, I grew up blue collar. I grew up in the mountains on horseback with weapons guiding people for big game. I don't really have Mother Teresa's mouth on me or attitude, all right? And most people that fight or are willing to fight don't. So, but I'm getting better at it. But I'll tell you what, I bite my lip a lot more than I don't when it comes to this topic, especially when I know about the true facts, which have been going on for quite some time. And when trying to take baby steps in encouraging all of you to look into these facts yourself, because it's obviously not me or the circle of good, honest people behind me that are making them up. You can't get facts unless they're present, okay? So listen to this. This comes from an email to me from one of the most intelligent, honest people I know today when it comes to this topic, all right? And of course, I'll switch up some names just because it's fun too. But listen to this. I share your anger with Mel Dumb and the gang. When you get into my book, you will see just how far they went to destroy a person's life. They take advantage of good, well-meaning, honest people. It was so unfortunate that the likes of Money Taker and Mel Dumb got in positions to steer the research and the information released to the public. Okay, do you see that? Steer the information released to the public. Now, you can't make that shit up. Obviously, if you have a curiosity, you can look into that yourself, all right? It was about the truth with them. Sorry. If it was about the truth with them, they would have helped Dr. Ketchum and helped her secure more funding and do a more in-depth analysis. Money Taker went after a lady named Mary Green. Okay, now listen to this. Mary was a pioneer in Sasquatch research. She documented and scientifically studied them starting in the 60s. You don't hear much about her because the old school guys, to include Money Taker, went after her to ruin her because the observations she had about the Sasquatches pointed to a human hybrid even back then. The Sasquatch she was encountering had a round normal head, more human-like features than the ape school guys. The Sasquatch she was encountering had a round normal head, more human-like features, and the ape school guys went after this poor lady like you will not believe. I became friends with her around 2011, 2012-ish, and she shared a lot of what she knew and her research. Very smart lady. Unfortunately, she passed away a couple years ago, but the point is, these guys have been controlling the narrative for over 40 years and are ruthless in defending it. I'm so glad you're taking them on. Blah, 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 blah. It's working, and it's definitely turning the tide. And yeah, it is. And those are the facts that piss me off, all right? Now, am I trying to destroy anybody? Nope. Couldn't care less. The only thing, I mean, let's face it. If you're an honest person who does honest things for the public and delivers honesty to the public, what do you got to worry about? Especially when it comes with me and you. What do you got to worry about? Nothing. What can I do to you? Nothing. What can I do to anybody? Not much. The only thing I can do is deliver the honest truth to anybody who wants to hear it. And to back up what I am saying and what my circle of very intelligent, kind, caring people know, all the information's out there. It's very, very easy to see. All you have to do is take the time. That's the unfortunate time. And that's the unfortunate thing is it takes time. It takes time to look into topics, right? But if you are questioning my motive or any of my words, all of the information is out there. It's very, very easy to find, and I encourage you all to go look into it for yourself. And then in the meantime, I'm going to be the messenger boy, the ringleader, one of them, and we're going to steadily, honestly inform all of what these people have been keeping away from you. All right? And that's what we have to do first as we take our baby steps into delivering much, much more to everyone. Okay? But first we have to clean up the garbage trail that all these people have left behind. And it's a pretty thick pile, right? I mean, let's face it, when you have just a small group of individuals who somehow somehow have controlled such a huge narrative. I don't know how. I don't know how, because it's like this. It's like, for me, now that I've decided to take on the bullshit, for many years now, I've just watched this from you know, back in the distance, and just shaking my head as I've clearly watched this go in circles, in a continuous, steady circle. And I'm surprised that nobody else is blowing a gasket sooner than me, because it's just such an obvious circle of deceit. It's mind-boggling. You know, there's so much more to this topic, and it's so obvious. It's just mind-boggling to me that this handful of douchebags have actually managed to keep it under wraps for so long. Bizarre. But as I'm showing to all of you, good, honest people win in the end. That's all there is to it. So if you're anything less than that, you don't stand a chance now. We're turning it around. Anyways, I'm going to dig up another story and read one more before I head back to the ocean and get this sweat going, get these tropical bugs off my legs. And I just did a checkup on home, and apparently it's going to hit -20 today at home, and there's 4 feet of snow at home. Oof.